Hey, what's up, guys? Private Eye Russ here. Apologies for the lack of videos. I've been super busy, um, and so here's the meat and potatoes of this video. But before I do some housekeeping, you can reach me on X at Private Eye Russ. You can reach me on YouTube as well as Instagram if you need to email me, or you can send me a DM on X if you need to email me. It's Russ at privateeruss.com. That's Russ at privateeruss.com. Okay, so let's talk about consent and some of the things you guys are omitting in your dating procedures that could cost you in the future. So I just got done doing the initial battery of investigative services for yet another false allegation case. I may have to do some more work later, but you know there was a ton of work that needed to be done, so I got most of it done right away. All right, so here's what we need to do as men, and this is something that I put into practice, and I see this is one of the most common things that guys are leaving out, and it could put you in jeopardy. All right, so now we're not going to talk about why false allegations happen. That's going to be in another video. But one of the things guys are doing is they're not getting what's called confirmed consent. Okay, what is that? That is having a conversation with someone and them saying that, hey, you both having an agreement saying we agree to do this X, Y, and Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, whatever it might be, and you have that conversation as adults. I go a little bit further. I actually present women that I might get physical with in the future with a excuse me, allergies right now are rough. a sexual activity consent form, and it even has categories of different things that people might do when they're engaging in fun bedroom activity. Like a fellatio, cunnilingus. Me being of Jamaican descent, that part has a circle with a line through it because Jamaicans I think it's pretty much prohibited by the Jamaican constitution. The men are not supposed to eat pum pum. That's a colloquialism for JJ. Anyway, so I digress. You just keep going. But so what I'll do is this. I won't meet women. The first couple of times I meet women, I will not meet them for dinner. There won't be any alcohol. Some women are like, oh, you have to take me to an expensive dinner first. Okay, whatever. You can go your own way. I'm going to meet you for coffee the first couple of times. Why? Because I want two things. I want to be able to know that I want to hang out with you because I might meet you and you may not look like your pictures. That happens a lot. Or you might just be very unpleasant to be around, and I want a quick bailout. Coffee is easy to bail out on. Dinner is not easy to bail out on and extricate yourself from. Number two, I don't want alcohol present. Guys, when you're meeting women for drinks and they're having drinks and you go back to their place or they go back to your place, you're leaving yourself open for trouble. Okay, so if someone's under the influence of narcotics or alcohol, they cannot consent. Legally, they cannot consent. So think of it this way. If someone can't sign a lease agreement or they can't sign a mortgage agreement because of their mental state, whether they're under duress, that's a big one, or under the influence of alcohol or narcotics, they cannot legally consent. So that leaves a door open for later on down the line. Say, for instance, and one of them is a regret. Another one is to cover up infidelity. That has happened very recently. And so you can't leave the door open for that. Okay, I'm not saying you don't drink alcohol, but have that conversation first. And I make sure that women understand, look, take it home, take your time, consider it carefully. You're under no obligation. Even if you do fill us out, you're still under no obligation to do anything in the future. And make sure they understand that there's an option. And make sure that they understand that the reason your motivation for doing it is that you both take ownership of the consent process. Most women that I've talked to and I've presented that to appreciated the fact that I was taking a step to make sure that there was a confirmation of consent from both parties. I've only had one woman say, that's ridiculous, we don't need this, we're grown-ups. Guess what? I didn't see her again. Why? Because if you're not willing to do that, that signals in my brain that you're leaving the door open for some sort of shenanigans or chicanery in the future. And so many of you know I've got an 18-year-old son. The protocol at my house is that if a woman has not filled one of those out Whether I bring her there or he brings her, she is not coming in the house unless she has filled one of those out. Period. What I'll do then is I'll scan them and I'll send them to my attorney. I got an attorney friend who's also a client of mine, and I've never been accused of anything like that, obviously, but I've seen so many guys get accused of things just because guys kind of take the YOLO approach. One thing leads to another. That will get you in trouble. And look, I understand it takes away a lot of the spontaneity. Women will say it takes away a lot of the romance, and I get it. However, there's nothing romantic about being perp walked in front of your family, your friends, your co-workers, your peers, because you've been accused of the unthinkable. So this is just one thing. This is not something that, look, this can't stop anyone from accusing you of anything. What it does is it helps stack evidence in your favor that you didn't do anything. You didn't do the unthinkable. So. And again, it's just one thing in your favor. You've got to stack a few things in your favor. That's one of those things. But also, too, in the mind of the woman, they have an understanding that, okay, look, this is a conscious decision. So, one thing leading to another, and alcohol, and maybe narcotics, or whatever it might be, you're leaving yourself open. Stop leaving yourself open, guys. Make it I know it sounds business-like, however, you'd rather take care of this business now than have to hire an attorney and then have that attorney hire a hotshot private investigator like me to try to dig you out of that hole, because they don't have to prove that you're guilty in most cases. Here, at least here in Florida, I've worked on almost 20 grape allegations, and every single one of them was a false allegation to date. All right, and I've got a few more that I may be working on in the future, and so you have to prove yourself innocent, which I know that's not how it's supposed to be. I'm not going to talk about the court systems and about how, biased they are. This is just what we have to deal with, guys. So protect yourselves. Anyway, Private Eye Russ on YouTube, Instagram, on X. Send me a DM on X if you need a private investigator. I specialize in doing what I call a pre-purchase inspection before you get married. Call it a premarital background investigation to keep yourself safe and uncover some of these hidden things that may spring up later on that might be deal breakers for you. Women are very good at covering things up. They're really, really good. I just worked on a case where a woman scrubbed her social media of a lot of a lot of stuff because she's dating a dude who's got a ton of money, and she's got the wedding bells in her head going off. So and he was able to we were able to uncover a lot of that information for him and help him make an informed decision, which is all any of us should ever want. You can also email me at Russ, RUSS, @privateeyeruss.com. This is your boy Private Eye Russ. I'll be back with more.